Okay, um, episode 2 of Tech Choices. Also another one for your main deck. Definitely, I wouldn't go for side deck on this one. And it's Magic Drain. This card is amazing. This card, seriously, is amazing. I love this card. So good. Opponent activates a spell. You go Magic Drain. Basically, it either forces your opponent to not do, whatever play they had planned, or it forces them to go neg. So, essentially, it's still a plus, no matter what happens. This came to me because my friend was playing very trap-heavy lineup in his deck, and you kind of still, you could have all the deep prisons and the compulses in the world, and even the warning, but it's not really going to make a difference once they go True Nade. The only out you really have to True Nade is Judgment, and you got to think about, really hard as to whether you want to pay that 4,000 or whatever it is, the half of your life points, to, get rid of that True Nade. And, it could be beneficial, and it can be detrimental, because you can go True Nade, opponent can go True Nade, you can Solemn it, and then they end up, doing the play that they had planned to anyway, and it probably wasn't even that big. Sometimes people just True Nade just because they want to get the warning out of the way, because they just want to summon their monster. Like, people don't always go True Nade and have a game-breaking play, but a lot of times that is what happens. So, Solemn guarantees that you stop it, but one thing about it is, if you go True Nade and then chain Magic Drain, a lot of times, and I've played it myself, I've seen other people using it, and pretty much when you activate the True Nade, if you don't have a magic card, you're boned. Like, maybe your play was to go True Nade, get rid of everything, summon debris, and just go ham, just go off, but not gonna happen because you don't have that extra, magic card. And even if you do, sometimes it could be the Avarice, and you don't want to get rid of the Avarice. It could be the Monster Reborn. Do you want to really get rid of a Reborn? It could be the Dark Hole. So it really puts more pressure actually on your opponent than you, because with Solemn Judgment, it puts the pressure on you to think about whether you really want to pay half of your life to negate a card that might not kill you that turn. And it could actually aid in killing you, because you go True Nade, chain Solemn, and you pay half your life, and they still go on with their play, and you're not able to stop everything, so it might lower you to just enough that they can kill you anyway. But with Magic Drain, it puts the pressure on them, because if they don't have the magic card, then there's no point. Then they're gonna lose that True Nade or whatever the card is anyway. But if they do, it forces them to think about how important that other card is to them, and whether they want to discard it in order to, use a True Nade, and whether they're really gonna go for a game-breaking play. Most of the time, it's come through. I've almost never seen a time where Magic Drain actually hasn't, especially if you play it skillfully. Because if you play Magic Drain when you've already seen your opponent go through, one Avi, and they mill the other one, and now they top deck and they go for their third Avi, I mean, chances are hopefully they're not going to have that spell card in hand. So Magic Drain is a really good card. Also, there's not just True Nade and not just Avi, but the most big power cards that everyone plays. Reborn, Dark Hole. It kind of gives you extra insurance when you have 2 or 3 monsters on the board that aren't TGs and don't get searches out of them. Maybe you have a T-King, Banisher, and Doomcal. I don't know. That's a crazy lineup, but let's just say you have those. When you go Dark Hole with those on the field, that's a +2 for your opponent, but it gives you that extra insurance that, yes, I can play extra monsters and have the backup so that they can stay on the field. Another good thing about Magic Drain is the fact that besides Monster Reborn, besides Dark Hole, even the little things, like chain MST. You know, maybe they're hitting the card that you really don't want them to hit, so you chain Magic Drain. You know, like, it's just a really, really good card for the main. And pretty much, if you're playing a trap heavy lineup, then I would definitely think about this card. Some of the main decks that you would play it in: TGs, Heroes, GBs, pretty much any trap heavy lineup. If you're not playing a ton of traps, maybe you're playing 6 or 7, you could still try it, because it's not really just there to protect your traps, but it's just a really good card in general. And but the whole idea just came from the fact that, you know, you have so many traps, and even though there's only one True Nade in the game, somehow, you know, when you're playing, everyone just finds, you know, it's that magical way to draw it on you and just beat the shit out of you with it. So that's it. Hope you guys try this card out, and Gscollect is out.